Hey guys, welcome to the patch 10.11 notes, posted yesterday. I'm more on time than I usually am. We're not going to read the preamble by Shoi Shouju today. Basically, it just says we release Volibear and we're buffing Marksman, so, because this is pretty long. Bug fix to Lux, whatever. Buffed, Fiddlesticks. Fairly sizable buff for him, I think. It changes his playstyle a little bit. Gangplank. This seems like more of a nerf. They bug fixed a problem where he could get double sheen procs on chained barrels, which, you know, if you're removing a sheen proc, he's getting like 70 less damage, so that ain't real good. Hecarim, sure he needed something. There's a very small pool of ultra high, super good junglers, and Hecarim is not in that group. Kaisa, sure, probably needed something. Lux, no. Lux doesn't need any more help. This character is a pretty good solo queue stomper, really good support, really good mid, and can just create picks that win the game for her team, so I don't think that she needs any additional help. Graves! Nerf, definitely required. Janna, not a lot of people play Janna, but when you play against a Janna that actually abuses her properly, yeah, it's really annoying. Syndra had been flying under the radar for a while. Definitely required a nerf. Talon is more or less objectively the best solo queue mid laner in the game. He always seems to carry. He does really good. Let's check him out on the tier list. Mid lane. Annie Talon. Talon is still at a 51.5 after the nerfs. And before that, he was obviously higher. Can push his lane, can roam. Definitely roams better than any other mid laner in the game. He is real good. So I'm glad that they're nerfing him. I haven't read what changes they are to him. Syndra, her E's cooldown got increased. Volley, I've loaded up a game of Volibear to just test out his numbers. He seems real good. I would not be surprised if they're hotfixing a couple of these numbers, because from my general idea of him, he's really good. And from what people in pregame chat have been saying when they're like, so how's Volibear? Most people agree this guy's really good. While that loads up, Fiddlesticks, the change is that when he's in effigy, when he's standing still and becomes a scarecrow, that timer has been changed from 1 second to 2 seconds, so he has to stand still for longer. But if he's in an effigy, Fiddlesticks' abilities now terrify enemies if cast while he's posing as an effigy, so that's pretty good. And the minion damage reduction went from 60 to 40, so he's doing an extra 20% damage to minions with his W. I don't think this includes jungle creeps, this is just lane minions, so he's going to be healing a little bit more too because it's damage based, right? Sounds like the game's ready to go. I like Volley's splash art. I don't know if you saw it there, but I think Volley's splash art is good, but he looks kind of funny. He looks like a man wearing a bear top to me. Like it reminds me more of like Udyr than a bear, but that's how most anthropomorphic stuff is in League of Legends, right? So my number one thing with this guy is that his early ganks are going to be really, really, really good. 4 seconds of 10% move speed or 20% move speed towards enemy champions. So I'll spawn an enemy dummy. So if I'm just using it normally, I go from 340 to 374, which is pretty good. That's a 34. And then we'll wait for the cooldown, and I won't level it up because that was a problem a couple times when I was testing it. I'm like, oh my god, it's so good. And then if you're moving towards a champion, 408 move speed at level 1. That's pretty good. His passive seems to have quite a long windup for before the stacks wear off. You have to get 5 attacks off before the lightning starts to come out. The lightning, you know, it's going to help you push your lane. This guy's probably going to be pretty decent in lane, but probably more still a jungler. His W proc, so you use it one time, it marks them, and the blue just, I don't know what the blue means, but you know, you use it again on them, and it's an empowered ability, like kind of like Camille, but you heal extra off of it too, and it resets itself, so that's pretty good. The E I don't think is going to be super impactful. The shield is nice, and you're probably not going to be hitting enemies with it very often. It's like a Veigar W, right? Like, most people are decent enough to run out of the way of a Veigar W, and this is substantially easier to see the range of than a Veigar W. The ultimate, I think, is really good for laning, because if you're, like, let's say your top lane, your jungler comes, they run underneath their turret, and then you just dive. Like, you get free dives. He gains 200 health, which lets him tank an extra turret shot anyway. It's 200 health flat, and then 50 bonus attack range, which makes him more of like a Nasus Q style than like an auto attack in terms of range for his autos. And it wreckers the turret for 2 seconds, which isn't like super long, but that's definitely long enough where you are going to kill somebody and not die if this was something you didn't have. And if you land on top of your opponent, it does 250 flat plus, is this 100% scaling? It's over 100% scaling for AD. So that's pretty good. And then it has AP ratios too. Not that you're going to be probably building very much AD or AP on this character, but still very good. And then at max for Q here, right? The Q additionally, if you get immobilized or stunned, the ability resets. So here, we'll just rank Q up to max here. So at max rank, it's 30% flat, which, you know, it's still pretty good for 4 seconds. And then we'll cool down, refresh. There we go. Towards champions. Holy cow, man, 500 move speed? That's pretty good. So this character, I think, as a top laner, he's going to do really good. He seems like a fairly decent tank buster as well. And he has really good sustain off of his W. He can even use it on creeps. And he's got really good dive potential, so I would not be surprised if this character gets hotfix nerfed, or if he's just permaban. He seems real good. Gangplank, like I said, I think that they kind of pseudo-nerfed him here with this powder keg bug fix. The attack speed is not going to make up for reduced damage from sheen damage, right? So he's actually probably going to do worse after these changes than actually buffing him. But the Zeal items are still going to be nice for him. They get a little bit of extra move speed, but move speed is not really something that you care about a lot on GP. You're already zooming around if you blow up your barrels because you have phage procs, and powder keg with phage procs are really good. Yeah, don't really think that they did what they wanted to with these GP changes. They could probably, you know, if it's a bug, it's a bug, but whatever. Graves, probably the best solo queue jungler still to right now. He just does so much damage, and they're reducing the first shot damage ratio, meaning like when you cast the Q, it's going to do 20% less damage than it did before. So, well, not really 20% less, but 20% less of your bonus attack damage. So, what does Graves start out with? Like, if you're ganking lanes, you probably have 100 AD. Longsword is 10. League of Legends Longsword. Is it 10 or 15? It's 10. Okay, so he's going to have double Longsword for sure. So that's not a lot of damage reduction. That's like 2 less damage. But still, anything helps. Just lets you live a little bit longer. I think they could have done more than that. Hecarim, base damage on the Q, up by 5 at all ranks. Up by 13 at max. Okay, so it scales up. And minion damage reduction from 33.3 to 40. Okay, so they don't want him to be in the lane. Making sure not to creep his minion clearing power too much. Okay, so that's what that's for. Better clearing of jungle, but keeping the minion clear about the same, whatever. Janna, W damage, same at rank 1, but scaling down by 5, and then at max rank it's down by 15. No, 20. Yeah, 20. Look at your brain, dude. Of course that's 20. I think that it's most oppressive in lane, so I don't know why they really needed to not... They could have reduced this by 10 here, right? Instead of only 5. I think that that's the more important part of the game. You could have reduced base by 5, then 10, and then scaling down more and more. That way she actually doesn't destroy people with her W in lane nonstop, so... I don't know, I think they hit her in the wrong point of the game here. Kai'Sa Q damage ratio from 0.35 to 0.4, so an extra 5% of her bonus AD, sure. And Killer Instinct range increased to 3,000 at max. That's real good. Okay, nice. Her lane clear with this, I think, is already really good. But bonus AD is going to be more impactful later on in the game. So, lane clear isn't really going to matter that much. And it's AD ratio. The AP hasn't been changed, so that's fine. Lux. Detonation slow. Additional 0.5 seconds after damaging by E2. Additional 1 second after damaging by E2. So she gets an extra 0.75 seconds of a slow. That's pretty good. I don't think she needed that at all. This character's really strong. Syndra scaling down to 2 seconds longer at max rank. That's, it's something. This is an ability that, again, in lane, if it's down more often, that's definitely good. So 2 seconds for all ranks, sure, I guess that's fair. Talon Q from 30 to 40 mana. Holy shit, dude, you've nerfed him to the point where no one's ever gonna play him. Who cares? Heal on kill from 20 to 71, depending on level, to 10 to 70. Okay, so flat is 10 lower. I think that what you need to do is increase the mana cost of Rake. But sure, maybe 10 mana on... You do spam this a decent amount, but... I don't know. Marksman changes. These are the more juicy, interesting changes. I've played a couple matches already, and it really doesn't seem like this is going to be a change that's actually meaningful. The real problem is actually that supports are just too strong, right? Like, that's the problem with bot lane, is that supports can kill AD carries way easier than AD carries can kill supports. And that even is true throughout basically the whole game, right? Like, if you have a Zyra or a Xerath or a Brand or something, and you're fighting as Ashe, Caitlyn, Draven, Ezreal, Jhin, if they land their abilities, they're going to kill you. They have more damage than you, right? Like, the AD carry is still a good role, and if it wasn't, people would just stop picking it entirely like they did in Season 7, whatever the season was where they nerfed Infinity Edge and screwed with everything, where it was like Swain bottom, Yasuo bottom, and if you weren't playing Swain or Yasuo, you were basically trolling because AD carries were so weak. The problem is that supports just have too much gold, right? So giving every AD carry half of a ruby crystal, that's 200 gold worth of stats. I don't think that that's the change that they really need at all. I think that you need to prevent the power creep of support from going crazy, because it honestly is just not fair. And you can do this really easily. All you have to do is nerf the support items, right? You just have to prevent them from getting as much gold income as AD carries do. Because if you look at a game where an AD carry is farming fine, and then they don't have many kills, like if there's a huge kill difference between the support and the AD carry, then yeah, obviously the gold is all through there. But support items basically are farming you at least like 5 or 6 CS per minute, which is really good in terms of income, right? Like 5 or 6 CS per minute is real good for doing nothing. So if they just clamped the gold and made it so that your first base you couldn't buy like double amp tome, maybe that would help the AD carry roll a lot more. Because if AD carry's dying, it's almost always because they walked out of position and got one shot by the top laner or jungle. Like mid laners, I think most of the time aren't the ones diving in on AD carries. Sometimes it is, but most of the time when I die, when I play AD carry, it's like the jungler jumps on top of me and I die. So if I had the potential to live through like a support that doesn't have an additional 40 damage on every ability that they do, I think I'm going to live way more often and actually enjoy the game more. Yeah. AD carry as a role, it's just been power crept out of the game by other things, so this is not going to do it. I'm still not playing AD carry. I play mid lane now. But yeah. You know, it's something. It gives them something. Aphelios, blah, 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 blah. The changes that are more interesting, like all of these characters got some pretty decent buffs. And some of them I think they could have done more. Like Xayah is a struggling character. She probably could do with more than this. Base health on Twitch is now over 600. That seems really good. 610 for Jinx. 605 for Draven. I think that Draven should have the highest base health of any AD carry, not Twitch. That's kind of weird. Whatever. It's something. Lucian, his crits go up from 75 on his second strike to 100%, which is actually really good. This is going to get you way more kills than most other changes. It's going to buff his crit build a lot too, so you're going to go Essence Reaver IE, which is... I really like that build on Draven a lot. Blade of the Ruin King is also good if you're solo laning Lucian, which is kind of the reason why they're doing these changes separately. Bork is probably better, but as AD carry, I think Essence Reaver IE is really good. So an extra 25% on your second strike crits is pretty good. Callista W mark damage is scaling up. Okay, so that's fine. I've had some problems with that before too. Like her W just seems useless. So if they're going to give it marks an extra 4% max health at early ranks, that's pretty good. And it's gone from 20 mana to no cost. Sure, fine. That's a decent buff. And it doesn't scale too hard into the late game too. They're just making it so that her early game's a little bit better, which is where Callista has the most trouble as a bot laner. Vayne Q damage. Oh god. That's really good. Vayne, I think Vayne's probably got the best buff out of anybody. Damn. An extra 10% from 70 to 80% total AD. Damn, that's really good. So Tumble's going to be doing an additional like 40 damage. That's really good. Yeah, that's really really good cuz this is total AD. Hmm. Yeah. I think Vayne has probably got the best buff out of anybody and she did not need it at all. Tristana gets a little bit of attack speed. I don't know. These seem really unfair. Like why give Vayne an extra 10% at max rank? That's crazy. Uh yeah, I really don't like that. I think the Lucian change is fine, the Kalista change is fine. This Vayne is really strong. And Tristana gets like nothing. I don't know. Whatever. Zeal items from 5% move speed to 7% maybe saves you. And it's the same for all of them except for Runins. Runins already had an extra 5% or an extra 2% and now it goes to 9. Okay. That's fine. I've seen these Casio things on Twitter. I think they look really nice, but that's basically it, I guess. Huh. This patch I don't really agree with the changes to a couple things, but you know, it is what it is. I think that they nerfed Gangplank. This Graves change probably isn't enough. The Talon change, like, he does use it a fair amount, but what, now Talon just starts with the corrupting potion every time and it doesn't matter? Like, I don't know. This is not really that important. And Lux gets a 0.75 second longer slow, which is more than she needs, so. Yeah, I don't really like this patch a lot, and I think Volibear is going to be a problem, so not my favorite patch. I complained about this on Twitter a little bit. Here, check this out. So they did a couple changes to the League of Legends client UI again. They now have a little backpack, which doesn't look good. I don't think that looks good at all. The profile icon, sure, it looks okay. I really do hate the direction that they're taking this. Like, I posted on Twitter a screenshot of what the client looked like in 2017, 2016. It honestly looked so much better. Like, honestly. Have a look at what your profile page looked like in, this is 2017, September 2017. Look how much more minimal it is, right? Like, I don't think that your honor should have been the biggest thing here. I think that probably on the most people read from left to right, right? So the most important thing is definitely your rank. And then the second most important thing, sure, you can put your honor over here, but make it smaller. I also have a problem with this. Like, I think that TFT rating and League of Legends rating should not be in the same area. Like, here's your TFT rank. It's my highest rank on this account, so now I'm a gold 3 player on TFT. If you make a custom game, look, I'm a gold 3 player. No, I'm not. I'm a gold 4 player. But they don't care. People are going to be clicking this TFT button non-stop because that's where your profile button used to be, right? People are going to be doing that all the time. I think that these two things, like, yeah, they make Riot money. Obviously, these are going to be featured front and center, but I really hate that I can't hide this tab and I can't hide this tab. If I could just customize this, which really it shouldn't be that difficult, right? Like, choose the things that you want in the bar. And if I want to put the TFT button over here, then I can, and it'll be a little icon. This is getting so cluttered, though, man. Like, this looks really bad. Soon they're gonna have 6 icons over here. Like, give me a break, man. Give me a break. It's starting to look really, really, really ugly. Compare that to this, right? They had less things to show up here. Home, profile, collection. Home, TFT, clash. The 2 least important buttons get the best placement, right? Then your profile's over here. What? It's a backpack. Okay, it's collection. I still hate this. This used to be that chest icon, right? Then your shop. This icon will disappear eventually. So, I guess it'll only go back down to 4, but oh my god, it looks so bad. Like, embarrassingly bad. I hope that one day they do a complete overhaul of this again, because the UI, I just think it does not look good at all. Anyway, that's about it. Thanks for watching, boys. I'll see you next time. Peace.